Hello everyone, this is Angel Esquivel here. Welcome back to another movie review, and today we're going to be reviewing the live-action Moana movie, directed by Thomas Kao and starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Maui, and also our main star, Catherine Lagaya, as Moana. So, without further ado, wait, stop right there. 91.3 of you guys are not subscribed to my channel, but the question is, why? Well, I have the answer. You have not clicked that subscribe button, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification icon up there, help me get to 3,000 subscribers, and I promise that I will keep uploading every single day, and I will make a new intro to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and back to the video. Let's get to the review. To make it short and simple, if I can try, this movie is about, obviously, a girl who lives on an island with her small village community. She is chosen by the ocean to restore the heart of Tafiti, which is like a little rock. She sails across the sea and finds the demigod of the wind and sea and hero of man and women named Maui, who's voiced by Dwayne Johnson, or this time played by Dwayne Johnson, to help her aid on her journey to, restore the heart of Tafiti. And yeah, so that the world doesn't end. Obviously, this story is adapting the original story, back in 2016, the Moana 2016 animated movie. If you think about it, that's 10 years ago. That's still kind of recent for him. Okay, it may not sound recent, but for a movie to adapt to another, adaptation, it's it sounds a little more recent. But the question is, when you see in my thumbnail, what was the point? And I'd say, none. There is no point in making a live action. In fact, I feel like, I even tell myself this, that if this movie were to came out, if originally this movie was in live action back in 2016, I don't think anyone, especially I, would not have a problem with that. I thought this looked amazing, which I'll get to later, but now seeing this, 10 years later, honestly, it feels a little too early to make a live action, and seeing it now, it's what was the point? You could have just made this, originally as a live action, then cartoon. If there are any good moments about this movie, I would say, that one song that's, Away, Away, when she's, banging the drums, and then she sees a flashback of, the people voyaging the ocean. Honestly, I would say that was the only musical that was, adapted well in live action. And also, that's kind of one of my favorite songs in the movie. Another good thing that I did like was, the action, towards the end when, when Maui, fights off the Taka fiery demon. I thought that was well adapted in live action. Dude, that looked really cool. And like I said, if this was originally as a live action movie, I thought that would have been amazing, and I would not have had a problem with that. But that's where all my pros end. I feel like this movie lacks in style. Obviously, when it came to mostly their musicals, there's no sense of passion or any style to it. It almost feels like they're just, obviously you're supposed to replay it. They're obviously just reenacting the same scenes from the original, but I feel like there's no passion into doing it. It almost feels, there's certain scenes that almost feel rushed. Oh, and what's weird is that the special effects, come on, dude, this is if I remember, honestly, I don't remember, but I'll leave it down right here, but it was around 200 million budget, and it doesn't really look that good. Come on, dude, you guys make Avatar, which is the same budget, but yeah, you guys can't even make this look good. There's certain scenes where, I don't know if anyone's talking about this, but there's certain shots that almost look like they were AI, and it's it almost looks a little weird at times. Catherine Lagaya, the actress who plays Moana, I think she does a really good job. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, obviously he's the same. He acts no different. There's really nothing special about it other than the fake muscles that he's wearing, because now he's anorexic for some reason. But other than that, Katharina, who actually is the only one that plays a good job as Moana. So the director, Thomas Kale or something like that. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not really too familiar with his works. All I know is that he directed Hamlet or something like that. I heard it's a musical, but never watched it. Don't even think about it. All I know it's a musical, but I don't care about it. And I guess this is his second film that he made. not looking too good for your career, mister. So for my final question for this movie, do I recommend your children to go, see this movie, or do I recommend you guys to take your children or your families to go watch this movie? Not really. There's really nothing special about this. It's not really, look, if you're gonna watch it, it's best to watch the cartoon. I mean, it's not that old. It's still 10 years ago, but it's so recent. It aged well. I feel like you're just gonna watch the same thing, just with like, it's still animated, just like with CGI and just slapped in there, Yeah, making this into live action felt a little worthless. The reenacting scenes, some were like okay, but some almost just felt like they just kind of like get it. They wanted to get it over with. There was no passion into it. The only pros I got were obviously the "Oh Way Away" song. I don't know if it's called like that, but "The Way" or something like that. But that certain musical scene was actually like the best part for me, especially when Maui fights T'Challa. That was like the only best part for me. The CGI, I mean, it could be okay at times. Even though I feel like they may have used some AI, it almost kind of looks a little noticeable at one shot. I don't know entirely. I mean, I can probably, fuck it, I'm not gonna rewatch it. I'm gonna watch it when it comes out in streaming just to see if it's true or not. Catherine Lagaya is the only one that does a good performance as Moana. I think she does a pretty good job, and she does look like Moana. And she, like I said, and one last time, if this was live action, like originally back in 2016, I would not have had a problem with that. I think it would have been really great. But originally we had it in an animation, 3D animation. So making this almost just feels very pointless. And Dwayne Johnson, I mean, he went from when I went watching him in the Smashing Machine, like an A24 movie, which was one of his great performances. Then he goes back into playing the one guy that you can't be in every movie. He's always has to be OP for some reason. So, my final verdict for this movie, I give it a 2 out of 10. So, it's got to be the July 1st bad movie of 2016. July. So far. Before I get into my conclusion and, ending this video, I would say I have no problem with live action adaptations, like when it comes to like maybe an anime or a cartoon or a video game. I really don't. In fact, I think it's really great that we do have adaptations. I just feel like Hollywood in general makes them like badly in purpose. Like the only time we're actually really good in getting good live action adaptations is video games in this decade, and it's really amazing what they can do if you actually bring in like passionate like fans who are willing to make this. And look, Moana, I personally think Moana could have done well as a live action movie if it was made originally again, or you could have probably waited maybe like a few decades later, because 10 years, that's still recent if you think about it, to make an adaptation. An anime, I mean, I think we're gonna have to wait like centuries later for anime to get even better, or maybe it just won't happen at all. But what I'm trying to say is that adaptations are not really bad. You just need to get people who are very passionate into like who are big fans to create such a good project. So in conclusion, don't copy and paste. Well, that's going to be today's movie review. So make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, the bell notification icon up there. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram page called Thunderstruck1810. This is Angel Esquivel here, and as always,
why?